Hey guys, Andrew Houlihan from Australia here, member of the big biking commune. Just going to share a bit of my story about motorcycles with everyone. So about 20 years ago I got into motorcycle riding with my wife. We bought a couple of old dirt bikes and started bashing around in the bush here in Australia, and things progressed pretty quickly. I found a KTM shop not long after that and went and bought a brand new KTM 250. Started riding that around and joined my local motorcycle club, and got into racing some motocross and in enduro events for a bit of fun. And then things started to get a little bit serious for me. I progressed into racing at a state level, at a national level. Went overseas and done a couple of international motocross races in New Zealand, always as an amateur and really to enjoy it and meet new people. There was nothing really serious about what I was trying to achieve. I was just doing it for the fun, and I just love riding bikes. Ride a lot around Australia here, do a lot of adventure riding in Australia. 2016 I rode through Mongolia for a month, sent my 500 EXC over to Mongolia, spent a month riding through the Gobi Desert, up through the southern Siberian Alps, and just camping and living off my motorbike. That gave me really got into the adventure riding after that. It was just something that I loved doing. And I got back to Australia and sort of wondered if I was getting too old to keep racing motocross and the enduro events I was in. You know, I was 47 or 48 years old at the time, and I'd had quite a few injuries, broken back, a broken neck, a few bits of metal here and there in my body. So spoke about it with my wife, and we decided to give rally racing a go. I've followed the Dakar Rally and the desert style events for a long time and just loved watching the Dakar, but never thought I'd be at a level where I could compete in the Dakar. So no experience at all with the rally racing and navigation, but my wife and I set off to Greece for Hellas Rally, the biggest European rally there is. 300 riders from all over the world, and a lot of the pro Dakar riders go there as well. So we arrived in Greece in May 2018 and hired a bike, and off I went for the 7-day race, and I loved every minute of it. It was going quite well, sitting in around anywhere between 25th and 35th position for the first 6 days, and then on the 7th day I made a stupid decision and tried to go too fast on the last day and really achieved nothing, and had a very serious accident which resulted in a badly punctured lung, 9 broken ribs, a fractured neck, fractured sternum, fractured collarbone, fractured arm, fractured eye socket, a lot of head trauma. I spent a month in a Greek hospital before I was in a condition to be flown back to Australia. I was then repatriated back to Australia, spent another month in a hospital here in Australia, and was looking at a real long road to recovery. They said it would be a good 24 months before I'd be able to even think about getting back on a motorbike. But once I was out of hospital, I really hit the rehab quite hard, and I think it was nearly only 8 months later I was back in Spain, racing in the Hispanian rally, which was my second ever rally. My wife and I went back to Valencia, and I had a great result there in Spain, and it really opened my eyes up to what maybe I could do in the rally world. So straight after Spain, my wife flew back to Australia, and I took off down to Morocco with a few friends that I'd met in the rally world from Europe. We spent a couple of weeks in Mazuga, training, navigation training, riding the big dunes, and just having a bit of a good time. I was there while we were in Mazuga. The guy that I'd been hiring a bike off in Switzerland from Nomadis Adventure, decided we should possibly think about going and racing at Dakar, but we needed to do a lot of preparation and do it right. So I spoke to my wife about that, and she jumped at it. She said, let's do it. So we've formed a small team based out of Switzerland, or I'm riding for a small team based out of Switzerland called Nomadis Adventure, and we've got plans for Dakar 2021 in Saudi Arabia. So since the race in Spain, I went back and raced last year again in Africa, did the Pan Africa Rally. Before the Pan Africa Rally, I actually spent a week there with some Gerard Ferrez, a Dakar legend, doing some roadbook training and riding in the dunes, just getting practice. Then raced the Pan Africa Rally, had a 3 or 4 day break, and then we raced the Rally du Maroc, which was the last round of the Rally World Championships in Fez. I raced in the Enduro Cup class there and had a really good result of 9th overall, and that was one of the qualifying events for the Dakar. So I travelled back home to Australia and had a bit of a rest, and then we decided Dakar we needed to put off for a year till 2021, and we did the Africa Eco race this January, which was, they call the Africa Eco race the real race to Dakar, because it retraces the footsteps of the original Dakar. So we start in Monaco in France, or on the peninsula there, right up to Savona in Italy, catch the ferry across to Tangier, and then we spent 12 days riding through Morocco, Mauritania and Senegal, and finished at Dakar on the beach. So that was 12 days of intense, huge dunes and sand every day. I had a great experience in that race because one of my teammates was an Indian guy, Ashish Varone, probably the leading privateer Indian racer. And Ashish and I, and my other teammate Pablo, we spent every day together, sleeping, riding, and working out how we were going to finish the race. And we had a great time. Ashish was a very inspirational rider for me. He'd just come through a bad illness only days or weeks before the Africa Eco race. He was in hospital with dengue fever, and he battled that. He was still very ill at the start of the race, and he just pushed and made it through to the end of the Eco race. So he was a real inspiration for me to get through that race. So now we're back in Australia. We're obviously locked down with the COVID situation, but Dakar Entries opened last Monday on the 15th, so we've put our entries in this week. It's quite a thing to get into Dakar and to qualify for it first, and then submit your application and be accepted. So it's a big process. You do have to qualify and have the experience to race Dakar, and they really go through your entry to make sure you can do it. Rally du Maroc and the Eco race will have qualified for me. They've just got to accept my entry now, and once that's all lodged and accepted, then it's full steam ahead. Our training's been full on since we got back from the Eco race. I train ride at least 2 or 3 times a week, and then practice my navigation training on the computer and also on the bike. So very lucky here in Australia with the conditions we can ride in. We've got deserts, mountains, absolutely everything. So My training in Australia here consists of 2,000 to 3,000 kilometres every week on the bike, in just getting that bike fitness right, doing some roadbook navigation at least once a week, and just making sure I'm staying in shape so I can be in a good condition physically and mentally for Dakar 2021. Other than the training, I try and get a day in of just a normal adventure bike riding on my adventure bike, whether it be with my wife on the back, or I just go for a 500 or 600 kilometre casual ride just to unwind and free my mind up. I love the adventure bike side of things as well. The thing that a lot of people think is Dakar is beyond your ability, but I've really found that doing the larger rally racing and in Europe and Africa, that it's really possible even for the average rider if you can apply yourself and just push through some things you didn't think you were capable of. You really find things that you don't think you have, and the rally world is different to any other motorcycle racing I've been involved in. It's just such a friendly environment. There's no pecking order from the professional racers down to the amateurs. They just accept you, and it's been a really rewarding experience for me and my wife and family. My wife has had the opportunity to travel and see parts of the world, and so have my children. They've come to some events, and we've really formed a second family that we call our rally family, that when we're not in Australia, we're surrounded by these great people. So it's a great environment for us that we really love. So it's got its challenges doing what we're doing. Obviously, it is a huge cost to race these events. Dakar Rally, our budget just for this one race is 150,000 Australian dollars. The Africa Eco race cost us $100,000. So yeah, it's a huge cost burden for my family, and my wife and kids have made some great sacrifices to enable me to do this. I'll give you guys just a brief glimpse of my little motorbike workshop here in Australia and what I have. So here's my KTM 500 EXC, which is just a lightweight adventure bike. My big 1190 KTM Adventure that I love to get out on in the desert. It's a great bike to train on. It makes, when I get off that and get onto the enduro bikes, it just makes them feel like a small bicycle. I also use this bike with my wife. We do a bit of touring on it. She loves to jump on the back with me and go away. Up here is one of my Sherco 500 bikes. I use this for a lot of training as well. It's set up there with my rally navigation equipment. Stripped down at the moment to be rebuilt. I have two of these here. You can see I ride a lot at night, hence the great headlight setup. And over here is my factory KTM 450 RFR. This is the bike I'm racing in the Dakar Rally 2021 in Saudi Arabia. These bikes are hard to get a hold of. There's only 70 or 80 worldwide that are made each year, and they are a work of art. They really, you cannot describe what they're like to ride until you've been on one. You can see up there is a road book that I was practicing last week out for a ride. My Coca-Cola Energy, one of my sponsors, or biggest sponsor there. Got a few tyres in the background that I go through. My rally jacket from the Africa Eco race. But yeah, this is probably the pinnacle of all bikes. If you want to own a bike, you want to own a KTM 450 factory rally bike. Yeah, since we made the commitment to go to Dakar, I've pretty much been just totally consumed by rally racing and preparing for it. there's not a day that doesn't go by that I'm just not training, planning the logistics for the next event. It's just totally consumed everything I do. So I love it. It's a passion I've got, and I'm hoping that once Dakar 2021's done, that I can continue on and race in more Dakars and more events around the world next year. I have to be quite careful. I'm 51 years old now, and I've had quite a few bad injuries. As I said, the accident in Helles was quite big. I'm actually having surgery next Monday to fix the final part, fusing my thumb back on. It hasn't been attached since the accident in Helles, so I'm getting that fused and screwed back on. I had some ankle surgery as soon as I got back from Africa Eco race, and in 2017 I had a total left knee replacement, and then 8 weeks before I went to Pan Africa last year, I had my right knee totally replaced. My left arm I don't know if you can see the scars down my left arm, but that's plated down to there, internally and externally. I've got a steel elbow, my left elbow is steel. I've had spinal surgery, lower back fusion, lots of injuries, but I think the key to it, especially at being 51 years old, is staying in shape and staying positive. Hopefully next year, when everything's settled down with the COVID situation, I can get over to India. I'd love to do some adventure riding over there and meet some of the members of the big bike commune. India's always been on my radar as a place to travel to, and especially ride in. So I'm really hoping that we can get over there next year, and I've got a good friend over there and his wife, Ashish and Tanya, that I'm sure they'd be happy to show me around over there. Just on a final message, I hope everyone is coping with the current COVID situation. I know Australia's managed it very well, and I'm hoping the Indian community is safe, and you guys are all staying positive, and yeah, we can get our world back to normal as soon as we can. Anyway, I'd like to thank you for having me and listening to my story. You can follow me on Instagram, it's Andrew Road to Dakar, or on Facebook, Road to Dakar 2021, and yeah, hopefully you can follow me at Saudi Arabia in 2021, and I can see you somewhere in India next year. Thank you.